excited to have you aboard today, going through today's Mission Control webinar. Just to start off, a little bit about me, as far as who I am. So my name, again, I've had about 5 years in the ecosystem with Salesforce. I've been with Aprika and Mission Control for going on over 3 years now, and I am a certified Salesforce admin. And I always enjoy helping people through the Mission Control platform, as well as Salesforce in general, just helping them out with any questions, and certainly in the area of project management. So today's agenda, we've covered our introduction. We'll be doing a quick overview of Mission Control. We'll jump into actual demo time, where we'll be covering things like launching a project from an opportunity, assigning out a resource, logging time, and completing an action. And then finally down here, we've also got generating an invoice, and then just general questions. Also at the very end, with those general questions, again, just like you confirm from chat, we'll just put any questions that you have along the way through chat. And at the end of the session, we'll get back there to it and answer off any of those. And then finally, how to get started with Mission Control at the very end. So again, thanks for attending today. So a little bit around who uses Mission Control, some of our project metrics, clients that are using Mission Control. Those clients are located in over 25 countries, and then the different industries that we serve. We are built natively right on top of Salesforce. So when you think of it the same way that you can configure Salesforce, you're also going to be able to customize Mission Control. So you can add in any type of custom fields. You can modify your page layouts. You can also build out your own business logic with things like validation rules, workflow rules, process builders, etc. Additional benefits include any type of analysis that you might need to do in your project data. You can do that using standard Salesforce reports and dashboards. You can access all your data on the go from the Salesforce One mobile app. No integrations required. And from a security perspective, all of your data is contained in your own instance of Salesforce. The install and setup just takes a couple of minutes. It's a familiar interface since we're built right on top of Salesforce, and we support both Classic and the Lightning experience. So as far as licensing goes, in order to access Mission Control, you do need a Mission Control license and a Salesforce license. These are the different license types that are supported. So in this next slide, I'm just going to put up everything at one time for you. But essentially, this is everything that's included in Mission Control. So it's a feature wall, everything's included. You can scale up or scale down if you don't need to use all of the features right out of the gate. And there are a couple of ways that you can do that. One, you'll be setting up roles within the system, and you can restrict down visibility that way. Also, we have some out-of-the-box permission sets that can be applied. So things to note within Mission Control, you've got full functionality around resource management. So you can handle any type of costs and billing against a resource, as well as building out their team assignment, accounting for any type of skills. Things we'll be covering today, we're going to definitely talk about the scheduler, which is going to be your resource capacity planning tool. And you'll be able to see all your resources in a calendar view. And then more importantly, be able to see if they're over allocated or not. Also, we'll be touching on the resource assignment wizard. That's going to be a way of assigning the resource directly into the project, where you can pull in contributors to help deliver that work. And then other things that we'll be taking a look at moving down over here around project management is specifically going to be the creation from a closed-won opportunity. For management-wise, we can handle both agile and waterfall methodology, and we'll be taking a look at our whiteboard as well as our Gantt chart within the system. But no, within that Gantt chart, you also have the ability to track any type of baseline tracking dependencies and identify critical paths. Won't be diving too deep into it today, but just know that we do cover any type of risk and issue management, both on the project level and also through the progress pad that goes to a higher level, where you can see all of your risks or all of your issues across your projects. For time tracking, we'll be taking a look at our timesheets. In there, you've got the ability to capture both billable and non-billable time, a start and stop tracker. You have timesheet approvals, and then calendar converter is going to give you a few additional ways where your users can jump in and log time on a calendar or a more visual format. Then for financials, we're going to focus on today what the billing and the invoice creation looks like. But note on a very high level, you can issue an invoice, you can record payment, you can also issue a credit, and we fully support multi-currency support. Over here, as far as program management, typically that's going to be tied into the development of software and specifically around the agile methodology, but I'll just explain it real quick. So your program planner, that's where you're going to be building out a long-term roadmap of work that needs to be delivered. So think in different types of releases, you can be documenting those detailed requirements, building out user stories, leveraging the storyboard. And then the project builder is actually where you go in and convert requirements into actions and slate that work underneath projects or sprints with the work that needs to be delivered. There's detailed program analytics. Again, I'll just mention we've got the Gantt chart and the whiteboard. And then just for your own note on collaboration, you have access throughout Chatter, throughout the platform for team communication. You also have a meeting manager where you can jump in and log meeting notes and account for that time directly against a project. You can upload files directly within your projects. We also have a weekly project status report. On that one, in that particular case, you're able to generate a weekly project status report each week. You choose the day and the time and build out key stakeholders within that project. It'll automatically send out to them. They do not need to be a licensed user of Mission Control or of Salesforce, so that could be a project update that's client facing. We've also got our read-only page. That's a newer feature in the past year that we've added. And what you're able to do is go in there and actually share key areas of the project. And then using that live link, you can share that with your clients. They could click in and in real time see what's going on with their project. And then for productivity tools, I think we've covered everything with the exception of the action pad. And we'll be touching on the action pad as well today. But that's going to be a space where your users can jump into the project, go to the action pad and check off any types of actions that they might have. I also like to mention that through the progress pad, again, through the main console, you can go into that action pad and see all of your actions across all of your projects. So it just gives you a higher level or a management view. All right, so again, we'll be covering some of these key features as we jump in. That leads us on to our demo time. Again, we'll be covering all of this as we tour Mission Control, from launching that project, assigning a resource, logging time, and completing an action, and then generating an invoice, and then finally questions from chat. So again, as we go through this, we'll just put any questions that you might have at the very bottom, and we'll go from there. All right, at the bottom, excuse me, put them into chat, and then I'll get to them at the end of the call. All right, let's go ahead. All right, so from here, what you're looking at is the Mission Control console when you come into it. And I always like to get a thumbs up at this point. Just let me know in chat, can you see the Mission Control console? Just to confirm, all right, awesome, I got a thumbs up. Thank you so much, I appreciate that, Terry. All right, so then we'll get going. This is what it's gonna look like when you come into Mission Control. Know that I've got all the features showing right now, but certainly you can scale it down if your use case is just a little bit lighter, and then use the tool fully functional when you get ready to scale. So in the console, your launch pad, this is where you're gonna go in to launch anything new within the system. You also have your progress pad. Here you're able to log progress against anything, and that's where you're going to find that action pad, issue log, and risk log. Again, that's where you would see all of your actions, all of your risks, or all of your issues across all of the projects. You've got your management pad. Here you're going to have access into some out-of-the-box reporting. And then we also have our control pad. This is going to be your admin pad, where you can jump in and set up any type of administrative things that you might need to do within the system. So that's what it looks like here in the console, but we're going to start off with launching a project from a closed won opportunity. So I've got my opportunity set up, and when you come into it, this part is Mission Control, this project auto generation setting. And the idea here is I put in my close date, I'm in the stage of needs analysis, When I close win this opportunity, it's going to automatically create a project on the top right. So what I need to do first is I need to pick my generation method, and there's several different ways in here. Our top two are going to be opportunity and products. I'm going to select this to opportunity. I'm also going to go in and set what project I want this to look back to and copy. I'm going to go ahead and put our project start date as the 24th, and I'm going to tell it to generate the project. The difference in methods, or the most popular up top, opportunity looks back to an entire project or a template that you have built out and will clone the entire thing. If I do it based on products, it associates products with milestones and creates more of a customized project in there for you. So here we've got that set up. I'm going to do it on closed one. Just as a note, you can tie it to any stage that you might have. You would do that through our control or the admin pad. Here we're going to close win, and our project will be created on the top right for us. And there's our project, Ohana Inc., and you simply click into it, and then you've got all your key details in here, and it's set up and ready to go. So that's how you do it from a closed win opportunity within the system. Next, we're going to take a look at how you might actually go in and assign resources within the system. But first, before we actually do that, I want to go through and explain what the roles are and how they're set up. And you'll understand once we do that, why that's important before we get started into the assigning the resources. So in here, you're going to set up roles for each user within Mission Control. And I'm just going to go into my user. I've got that set up. We're going to come into edit. And here you've got 3 different role sources. So I've got user, contact, and asset. The difference is user is a full licensed user into the system. Contact, they don't have to have a Mission Control or a Salesforce license, but you want them to deliver some type of work on an action within the project. And just for your knowledge, action is the same thing as a task within Salesforce. So the benefit here is, even though they don't have access to see anything within the system, we've got some email notifications that can be sent out to them to let them know that they need to deliver that work. We also have asset, that's a placeholder. So think if you're building out a template, you need a project manager, a designer, an engineer, those types of names. And then you would have that project template set up and just replace them with a contact or a user at the appropriate time. For user and contact, you're connecting that over to a contact record within Salesforce. You put in the job title, your hours per week, and your billable target. So this piece is important, and we'll get to it, and you'll see it within the scheduler, but it impacts if somebody's over allocated on both the scheduler and the role utilization report. So it's going to say if somebody over capacity, the way that you set this up, you put in your hours per week that person's expected to work, and then your billable target, that's just the percentage of the hours per week. For the rest of the details through here, you can put in their different rates that you've got for them. And here you've got the ability to set up some of our notifications. I can put in who their expense approver is and mileage rate. Here you can give access into what you want them to see in the console. For example, if I wasn't a manager, I could turn off the management pad. If I wasn't a admin, I could turn off the control pad. And then through here, you're just giving them visibility into all the key details within Mission Control. So I can turn off any of those tabs if I don't want to see them. And then Gantt Chart, you've got some additional functionality, set that up as well. Make any role notes. And then the final 2 things we've got down here at the very bottom, a single user can be a part of multiple teams. You'll just set up the teams within the system, and then you would be able to just see that through the drop down here. And then you could go through and have that resource with multiple teams. Also for skill assignments, you can have more than one skill assignment. And we have skills, certification, languages. Certainly you can build out that filter skill type if you'd like. And then you're going to build out your unpicked list of skills, certifications, or languages in here. You can make it that active. We even get as granular as proficiency. So one's going to be basic, and then 5's advanced. You can put in an expiration date around the certification. And then coming through here, you would just put in your billable and your cost rate for each one of those skills. So again, within Mission Control, you can get very detailed on how you set up to assign those different types of resources. Now we're going to jump in and actually do that. So in here, I've got my principal technology website set up. and I'll just explain the basic project overview, and then we'll assign it a resource. So on the highest level, I have my project. Underneath my project, I have my milestone. Underneath the milestone is your action. So actions, again, the same thing as a task within Salesforce. And it's, think of it as the heart of the project. It drives the milestone, which is the container or the overall thing that you need to deliver. And then at the very top, you have your project level. So here I can see I've got action name, action owner, status, start, end date, my hours summary. If I want to reassign this to a named resource, because we have our asset, I'm going to come over here to the resource assignment wizard. That's going to be the first way that you can reassign this work to somebody. If I know who's going to deliver that work, I can come over here and add Kim in here. If I need to go off and assign Chris as an additional resource, I can do it that way. Also, you can access your teams. You can layer on skills and skill proficiencies. And here, this would look onto the actual calendar view. So I can go through and I can schedule out who also might need to be a part of that. So from here, just go off and save. Now you can see exactly who's delivering what within that project. So that's going to be the first way that you can assign using the resource assignment wizard within a project. The next way, we're going to take a look directly onto the Gantt chart. And the way that you can assign the resource is going to be just by double clicking into the action. And again, I've got the drop down right here. So if I needed to reassign that, I can do that. Or also you're going to be able to come back into that resource assignment wizard and use it in the same way that we just did. So that's how you would do it within the Gantt chart. Now, let me pause here and explain a little bit around what you're looking at within the Gantt chart and specifically through the standalone Gantt chart tab. So the Gantt chart's fully interactive. On this level, you're looking at multiple projects in one view. So if I need to, I can collapse that information down and I can see all of those projects. I can turn on and off my baseline dates to see how all of my projects are performing. This also exists on the individual project level, just for your reference. So I'm going to expand that out. Again, it's fully interactive. I can drag and drop to reschedule. If I need to extend anything out, I can do that directly here. You've got inline editing. So if I need to make any edits, I can do that directly within the system as well. And you also have your checklist items, which is a sub-level underneath your actions. Here, I'll also mention that you've got the ability for plenty of different types of filter. You can do it in multiple ways and even apply multiple filters throughout the Gantt chart. But again, on a very easy way, I can either double click and go in and reassign the resource that way, or you can also come over here and click in from the pencil. So any of those ways. And then finally, I'm going to take a look within our scheduler as far as a different way to assign a resource. Let me explain the scheduler first. So when I come into the scheduler, what you're looking at here, you have all your resources on the left. Across the top, you can change that view from 1 day all the way up to 52 weeks. And this is going to be all the project work that's assigned to your individual team members or your resources, and that's automatically populated by the project work in here. So if you hover over it, you're going to be able to see exactly what's going on. Also to note, I can pull through any type of Salesforce events from your Salesforce calendar. So in this case, it may be outside of project work. It could be an event that your Salesforce calendar is connecting into, say, Google or Outlook. And as long as you have an application or Salesforce inbox set up, then we'll be able to read your Salesforce calendar and in turn see that event in here. One of the benefits is through the timesheets, I can also go in and log time and associate that event to project work. So it's beneficial. From this screen, it just tells me if somebody over allocated or not. You can account for any type of time off in here through our holidays. That'll show up in here as well. And so the way that I might do it, if I click into any of these actions and double click, I can see who the action owner is. And if I need to, I can reassign directly within here just by going through and doing that. Also, the other way is if let's say that I have a template and there's project work, I'm just going to pull this action test down into here. I could specify a specific team that I wanted to see and filter that through here and either have a preset filter for my team, or I could go through and also layer on different categories and find the most appropriate resource to deliver that work, pull that information through, and then merely just drag and drop and reassign that work directly from here. So that would be another way that you could do it. Also within the scheduler, I'll mention quickly, you've got your hours total. This is going to show me if somebody's over allocated or not. I can see through here, and then I can jump in and say, okay, we've got 16 hours on both Thursday, Friday. Probably Chris is going to get across that. So we would just simply come back in on that Thursday and Friday, hover over and see what work we wanted to assign and just reassign it from there. Bob could come back and say, hey, no, we need to do that on Monday. And actually, I'm going to need a couple of days. And so you could extend it out there. This is on your actions view. You also have a projects view that's going to roll up everything there. So again, you would be able to do that assigning a resource directly within the scheduler or your resource capacity planning tool. All right, so those are going to be, that'll end it for all the different ways to assign the resource. Next, we're going to go in how you can log time and complete actions within the system. So as far as time logging, I'm going to take you directly into our timesheet here. When you come into the timesheet, what it's doing is it's loading up for an individual user. You're able to see all their actions for that given week, whether they're an action owner or contributor, and that you're able to go in and log time directly within those actions. So again, here I'm just going to put in, I worked 2.5 hours here, and we'll do a half an hour of non-billable. On each of these, you're able to click through. So I could say updated clients. And you can even have time log types, and the purpose there, and you can build these out for your own time log types. Purpose would be for data clarity and reporting. So I can come through, save that. All of that information is automatically populating at the bottom here. Everything that you see here, you can adjust just by going into your timesheet settings, and you can leave that open for individual users to adjust. You could also do it through our control pad or our admin pad and have everybody have the same view. So that's going to be the first way that you can log time. If I wanted to leverage our start and stop tracker, I can also come in here and just simply click onto that clock that tells me that the timer started, and then I can go back in here when I'm finished and log time that way. So that's going to be the same way within the system, and that'll actually bill out in 1-minute increments. From here, I'll also note this utility bar at the bottom. No matter where you're at within Mission Control, you're able to go in and do common functionality. So certainly I could jump in and log time directly in here as well. Let's next take a look over at our calendar converter. This is going to give you a few additional ways where your users can jump in and log time as well. So the first way it's going to do it is if I have any of my actions from my project work, those will automatically populate in here. I can log time that way. Any type of Salesforce events that I've got on my Salesforce calendar, those are also going to pull through. I can log time against those events as well. And then the third way is just going to be to come in, and you can actually just take time by just dragging and dropping. So here we've done that, and we just go off and say what projects, what milestone, and what specific action, and go off and log time. So again, just some more visual format to go off and account for your time. Finally, I'll mention that we do have some approvals within our system. And so I could come in and in one click, approve all of the time. If I need to send anything back, you would just hit reject. If I need to clarify, I can do that within Chatter as well. So you've got all those different options. Next, let me go ahead and show you our what it might look like if you were logging time on a mobile device. These are just 3 separate screenshots from an Apple iPhone. So you're able to come through and see what that might look like. If they do need to upload any type of photo to confirm work, they would be able to do that. But again, we don't have an actual separate application. Since we're natively built, you just log into the Salesforce One mobile app, and we're built right on top of that. So timesheets is going to be the first way that you're going to be able to log time. Next, we're going to go in and take a look at our whiteboard. And so kind of now we're moving into 2 areas where you're going to combine both time logging and completing actions. So I'll speak to both in this. as we go through this. So when you come into the whiteboard, think of this as a whiteboard in your office. Think of all of these individual cards as actions, or as individual little action cards or sticky notes as actions within that whiteboard or being stuck there in your office. So the first thing to note, if I want to complete this action, is I can just click onto it and I can drag and drop, and that's going to go ahead and complete that action for me. All right. If I need to also, let me go ahead and mention this goes back to a little bit around assigning a resource. If I did need to assign this work directly from here, I can also do that. You just come through, drag and drop, and that's going to reassign it to that resource. Through here, if I've completed the action by dragging and dropping, if I needed to log time in here, I would just double click into it. And again, you would just go through and say, hey, I've completed 3 hours in here, make any type of notes, and then go off and log your time. So you're able to do that directly from the whiteboard as well. Now, let me spend a little bit of time and just kind of walk you through what you're looking at through the different action cards. So you have your PAN number, which is a randomly assigned action ID number. I have my action, milestone, and project. I can click through to any of those. These fields right here, you can jump into the cogwheel and change those different fields. You have a lot of different options within the system. Down here, it's just telling me that I've worked 3 out of 4 hours since we logged that time. I can see who the action owner is. I can have access into Chatter if I need to make any notes or communicate with team members. I can build out a checklist. I can log any type of issues against this action. I can log time, which we just did. And then we also have an action summary. So again, you've got a lot of information here. I will let you know, you can also have a reduced card within here if you want to see less within this specific card. Just like we saw on the scheduler, you've got the ability for filtering, so you can save up your own or set up your own preset filters, or you can layer on any type of multiple filters in here if you'd like to search. And so a common way or a common question that I get is, how can a single user jump in and leverage the whiteboard? I always say, just go into your action owners, go off and filter. And in this case, it would just show me everything that I'm responsible for across all of my projects. If I needed to drill down further, I could go into one or multiple projects that I want to work on at one time. So again, a really good space to do that for logging time or completing actions. Next, we're going to go over and take a look over here at our action pad. So this will be another space where I can jump in. And this particular one is through the progress pad in the main console. So this is listing all of my actions across all of my projects. So what I might want to do coming in here, certainly I've got access and just to take note of, I've got summary charts of my action summary, how many total actions versus how many are completed, any type of overdue actions, my hours summary, and my checklists. In here, I can go through, as long as custom filters is on, and actually jump in and then filter down this information through here. So in this case, I just want to sort through all of and now I'm able to come in and it's showing me a list of all of my actions that I might need to go off and work on. So as far as completing an action, if I'm taking here as far as delivering training, and I know that I'd finished that, all I have to do is go in and actually check that off. That's going to mark it up here and show that as complete. Now, if I do need to log time, you're just going to come directly over here, click into that clock, and again, just tell how many hours. So we'll say 2.75 and hit log time. Again, same as using the timesheet. We've gone off and log time against that specific action at that point. I'll also let you know, once you're there, I can open up the action detail and see quite a bit of detail around that specific action, as well as I have access into Chatter if I need to go in and communicate with any team members. And that shows me that we just logged that time. Throughout here, you also can log any type of issues. And again, I can build out a checklist directly in here. So it really is a pretty easy way to log time, as well as complete actions directly in here. All right, so that covers that as far as the logging time and completing an action. The next area we're going to take a look at is billing setup, and then what it might look like if we've gone off and generated an invoice. So again, we'll take a look at this Principal Technology website. Where you're going to find the information on as far as like billing setup for this particular project is going to be underneath Edit. So I'll just walk you through. You have your project name. I've got my project owner, my account, contact, and opportunity. All of this information rolls up in Salesforce. You can have multiple projects under the same account. I would just check off template if I want to clone this project, and we do have that functionality available within Mission Control. And I can set up any type of project categories as well as subcategories. But here's where we get into the details around the billing. So with Mission Control, you've got the ability for fixed price plus expenses, and then time and materials. I would set up my project budget. In this case, we're using fixed price, and we've got 6,000. For billing and cost rate, you have the same three options. You have standard, role-based, and skill-based. Standard's just a flat fee. Role-based is based on the individual role rate that you've set up. And when we were looking at the roles, that's how you do that. And then skill-based is based on this skill that's been assigned to the action based on that resource. So again, we had multiple skills at multiple rates. It's just pulling in the one that you've associated with that action based on the resource. Down through here, I can handle any type of overtime. If the entire project happens to be non-billable, I can check that off. You can change the color on the whiteboard or the scheduler within Mission Control. And then through here, you've got some additional functionality. I can set up a purchase order if I need to, or my purchase order number. I can also handle multiple tax rates. But here's where you get into the specific types of billing that you can generate within Mission Control. So manual billing, I would manually raise the invoice. Milestone billing, I can do that on the completion of a milestone where it'll automatically generate the invoice for me. I can do it on periodic, which will automatically generate based on the periodic timeframes that I've selected, and we've got those out of the box, as well as retainer based. So any of those options. Everything on the right is going to pull through as you're working the project. And then as I come down here, you also can put in for any type of anticipated expenses and then actually log those expenses as you go through the project. So once we have that set up, I've already got within billing our invoice created, and we'll just take a look at the billing tab and kind of walk through that. So I can see as far as on the invoice, what's in draft, what's issued, and then any type of credit. Here for invoicing, I have my overall budget. I can see the invoiced amount remaining, what's paid, and anything outstanding. So it gives you that in a nice visual format. And then through here, you have your different billing events. And I've got within this website, we've got our billing event items, and those are generated into the invoice, and I'm able to access that invoice directly by clicking onto that link. So here we can see exactly what's going on. Note, you can put in your own custom logo here if you'd like. You've got the details of the work and then what the work is. And we were just doing a little bit of testing on larger block text in there, but you also have the ability to see what the overall amounts are in there. So that's how you would do invoice generation and creation within the system. So at this point, I'm going to close this down and minimize and put back up a slide real quick. And then we'll take any type of questions and I'll jump into chat and we'll get going from there. Let's go back one. Sorry about that. All right, let me look real quick. Scroll back up. All right, so it looks like we've got a couple. One from Jeff, will the deck be provided after the meeting? I believe you're going to have a recording of it sent over. I can, if you'd like the deck, I'll make note and I'll send one directly over to you. Make a quick note. All right, and the next one is going to be Lorraine likes the time log functionality. It is customizable, so thank you for that. And there's a lot of different ways in the system to use that. Let's see, from Terry, in our Salesforce org, sales updates, the opportunity stage, and they would not select mission control parameters to launch a project. How could a PM resource management, external subs, delivering the project, time tracking, etc., Zora for billing, Okay, so there's a couple of questions in there. So if you're thinking how might a PM launch it, there's going to be a couple of ways that they could do it. They can go in and create it in the project on their own line by line, which you would just do through the main console. You've also got the ability to go in and clone a project, so they could launch it that way, or you also can do it from a project request. So any of those methods, your project managers could kick off a project. External subcontractors, again, I would just have those in as contacts within the system, time tracking and status. So they're not going to be, unless you provide a actual community from Salesforce and a mission control license where you would have them go in and log time, you wouldn't be able to have them go in on their own and log their time. However, as a user of mission control, I can go in as that subcontractor and just put that contact's name in there, and I could log time on their behalf. So you could do that. And then of course, we've got some of those different types of notifications, like our new action notification, our dependent action notification, or our daily digest. Any of those could be sent out to those subs so that at least they would know what they're doing on that work. And then thinking through that, you could also share that read-only link with them where they could jump in and see what's going on in the project anytime they might need it to. So you'd have some different ways and around or ability there. And then finally, Zora for billing and invoicing. Can we pull that info? Can Mission Control pull in all the info so you can see all of the info? So when we're thinking about it, you are able to pull in information from any application, but you'd have to do that through a third-party app. So through that third-party app, connecting over into Salesforce. So in this example, Zora, I have Zora, a third-party application, connecting the data into Salesforce. Then I'm going to map that data over into Mission Control, and then it can talk to each other. So it is possible. It does require some configuration on that end. All right. And then from here, I just have a couple of more questions as far as, the next question is actually, does the price of Mission Control as far as a license change based on the type of Salesforce license? The answer is no. Our pricing is just going to be 39 Australian or about $30 US. If you pay monthly, it drops it down to 36 per month if you pay annually per month per user. And then finally, let's actually jump in. Does anybody else have any additional questions? Let me just open it up. Okay. All right. Then let's actually jump in and look at these next couple of slides, and we'll be finishing up. Looks like we're going to finish probably about 15, 20 minutes early. Again, hopefully that'll be okay, but I'll certainly hang out if anybody has any additional questions. So this kind of goes into, if you like what you see, if you wanted to jump in with a trial, certainly we encourage you to do that. We always encourage any potential customers. You can see reviews on the App Exchange as well as G2. If you have any questions, certainly come to us, ask. We're more than happy to answer those. As far as how you get started with Mission Control, it's real easy. You would just go to the App Exchange, click download or get it now, excuse me, and you can install into production or sandbox. And we always put this down here. Yes, it really does work out of the box. You'll be sent over a quick start guide that's 12 pages of info, and that's by far the easiest and the fastest way to get up and running. And then also I'll mention that we've got full resources online. So we have things like Learn Mission Control, which is our online learning portal. If you're familiar with Trailhead, it's going to have a very similar feel to that. Your users can jump in and self-pace and learn the platform that way. We also have a full knowledge base, user guide, and videos. If you need any additional support, that's going to be included in the pricing as well. You can reach us at that email address at any time. We'll get back to you in 1 business day. And in most cases, that's going to be complete with a resolution. I'll also mention that, I'm here if you have any questions around live demo, a specific use case for you or potentially any of your clients. Just let me know. I'm happy to walk that out and determine next best steps. So just simply send me an email and we can start a conversation that way. And so with that, let me check one more time. Sorry, that's our last slide there. Let me check one more time and see if there's any other questions in chat. It doesn't look like it. So with that, I'm just going to say thank you so much to everybody. I really appreciate you taking your time on this Thursday afternoon. And I'll hang out for a minute or two if anybody has any questions, or just put them into chat and we'll go from there. Otherwise, I do know that our marketing manager, James, will be sending out a recording of this here in the next couple of days. And then look forward to connecting with any of you soon. Thanks again.